The swamp was silent, yet silence itself felt alive. Eleanor whispered, "Do you hear that?" Marcus said, "Nothing moves, yet everything waits." A sudden ripple broke the surface. Charlotte gasped, "Something is watching us." David clenched his fists. "Stay close, don't step forward." A bird screamed overhead and vanished. The herd shifted nervously, hooves striking mud. Eleanor said, "Their fear is sharper than ours." Marcus whispered, "Fear remembers what memory forgets." From beneath the murky green, 2 yellow eyes glowed. Charlotte whispered, "It's here." David's voice trembled, "And it's hungry." The air thickened, as if holding its breath. Eleanor felt her heart race. Nature has no warning, only strike. Marcus said, "The herd edges closer without knowing." A shadow drifted under the water, immense, patient. Charlotte's face went pale. "We are not the hunters here." David said, "The ground itself is a trap." The silence broke into chaos. Wings, hooves, fear. Eleanor cried, "The law of nature is written in blood." Marcus whispered, "And it begins now." The stillness returned, but it was a lie. Eleanor whispered, "The water hides what the eyes cannot." Marcus crouched low. Predators thrive on silence. Charlotte said, "The herd feels it, yet they step closer." David muttered, "They are walking into their own graves." A dragonfly darted past, wings trembling in morning light. Eleanor's eyes narrowed. Every sound is swallowed, every warning ignored. Marcus touched the mud, fresh tracks, deeper than they should be. Charlotte shivered. "It's waiting," David said, "and it knows patience is the sharpest weapon." The herd pressed forward, hooves splashing softly. Eleanor whispered, "They do not see death beneath them." Marcus muttered, "Hunger wears patience like a crown." Charlotte said, "Every step shortens the distance." David clenched his jaw, "And every step feeds the shadow." A fish leapt, breaking surface tension. Eleanor said, "Even the small ones flee before it comes." Marcus stared at the water. "It has chosen its moment." Charlotte whispered, "Then the moment is now." The swamp groaned with hidden weight. Eleanor whispered, "The surface bends with its breath." Marcus said, "Pressure rises before the strike." Charlotte whispered, "Do you feel it? The water tightens like a snare." David muttered, "And the herd cannot hear the drumbeat beneath." A distant splash echoed. Eleanor trembled. Nature sharpens its knife in silence. Marcus growled, "Something ancient stirs." Charlotte's eyes widened. "The air's too heavy to breathe." David whispered, "The silence is about to end." Suddenly, the herd bolted sideways, panic ignited by unseen force. Eleanor shouted, "It's moving now." Marcus yelled, "Get back!" Charlotte gasped, "The water explodes." David's voice broke, "It rises from below." Mud churned violently, birds screaming skyward. Eleanor's eyes filled with dread. "It hunts in silence, but kills in thunder." Marcus said, "This is the strike we feared." Charlotte's breath caught, and nothing can stop it now. The chaos faded, leaving heavy silence like smoke after fire. Eleanor whispered, "The herd scatters, yet one calf lingers." Marcus narrowed his eyes. "It has not learned fear." Charlotte said, "The mother nudges it, desperate, but the little one trembles." David muttered, "The swamp waits for mistakes." The calf's tiny legs wobbled, its shadow fragile in the mud. Eleanor whispered, "This is what binds us, weakness turned into love." Marcus said, "Predators see only cracks in armor." Charlotte's face softened, yet the mother shields her calf like a wall. David murmured, "Her body is hope, her fear is sacrifice." The herd moved on, but the mother stayed, pressed close against danger. Eleanor said, "This is the weight of life, one carries all for one." Marcus whispered, "And the swamp measures every heartbeat as a wager." The calf stumbled forward, legs shaking with every step. Eleanor whispered, "It learns balance in the shadow of death." Marcus muttered, Every falter is an invitation to strike. Charlotte said, but see how the mother lowers her head, pushing gently. David's jaw tightened. She carries the burden in silence. The herd's sound dimmed, hooves fading like retreating thunder. Eleanor whispered, fragility makes us ache, not strength. Marcus said, predators do not ache, they consume. Charlotte's voice quivered, and yet the bond is fiercer than teeth. David muttered, love is survival's cruelest gift. A dragonfly hovered over water, its wings trembling like glass. Eleanor whispered, even the smallest fight to endure. Marcus muttered, survival is not choice but sentence. Charlotte said, the calf clings to her mother's side yet still shakes. David whispered, every predator senses the weakest first. The wind stirred reeds carrying smell of wet earth and fear. Eleanor murmured, the mother is fortress, fragile yet unyielding. Marcus said, fortress walls crack, but she will not step aside. Charlotte whispered, her love is sharper than claws. David said, and sharper still when sacrifice calls. The herd moved further into fog, but the mother and calf lagged. Eleanor whispered, distance grows between them and the herd. Marcus muttered, isolation is death's closest ally. Charlotte's voice shook. The calf tries to follow but falters. David said, predators wait for the ones who cannot keep pace. The swamp hummed with insects, a steady reminder of decay. Eleanor whispered, yet she does not leave him. Marcus said, the weight of love slows her, but she chooses it. Charlotte's eyes filled with tears. She would rather die than abandon. David muttered, and that vow is written in every step. The calf stumbled again, collapsing into mud with soft cry. Eleanor whispered, it is too weak to rise. Marcus muttered, this is how nature claims its toll. Charlotte gasped, the mother lowers herself, pressing body to shield. David said, she will not let him be taken. A crocodile's ripple disturbed the water a few feet away. Eleanor's breath quickened. Love and death stand inches apart. Marcus whispered, the swamp chooses in silence. Charlotte trembled. She offers herself for him. David said, sacrifice is survival's cruelest mercy. The swamp grew restless, every ripple sharpening into warning. Eleanor whispered, it circles closer with each breath. Marcus muttered, predators feed on hesitation. Charlotte said, the calf stumbles again, weaker than before. David clenched his fists. The mother shields him, but she cannot stop the tide. A low rumble of thunder rolled across the horizon. Eleanor whispered, storms above and predators below. Fate closes in from both sides. Marcus said, the calf is the crack in their defense. Charlotte's voice shook, but her defiance shines brighter than fear. David growled, defiance is not armor, it is invitation. The reeds parted slightly, as unseen mass shifted beneath water. Eleanor's breath caught. It waits for silence before thunder breaks. Marcus muttered, this is not chance, this is design. Charlotte whispered, the calf is still alive, so hope lingers. David said, hope is fragile, and the swamp eats fragile things. Rain began to fall in soft spears striking the water. Eleanor whispered, even the sky joins the hunt. Marcus muttered, rain blinds the herd and cloaks the predator. Charlotte said, the calf shivers under its mother's flank. David whispered, weakness grows louder in the storm. A flash of lightning painted the swamp in violent light. Eleanor said, the storm reveals every fear in stark colors. Marcus growled, and still the crocodile does not strike. Charlotte trembled, perhaps it waits for greater panic. David muttered, or it knows the mother will not abandon him. The herd blurred into fog ahead, distance growing with each second. Eleanor whispered, they are alone now, left to their fate. Marcus said, isolation always ends the same. Charlotte said, but still she stands unyielding. David growled, and still the shadow circles closer. The water exploded suddenly with a violent splash nearby. Eleanor gasped, it tests them first. Marcus shouted, the strike is closer. Charlotte cried, The calf stumbles again. David growled, every fall is invitation to kill. The herd vanished fully into fog, leaving only echoes of hooves. Eleanor whispered, they are abandoned to the swamp. Marcus said, predators wait for that silence. Charlotte said, the calf's cry pierces deeper than the thunder. David muttered, it is the sound of death calling louder. Ripples widened, circling the mother and calf. And Eleanor whispered, she shields him with her body like shield of flesh. Marcus muttered, but shields break when storm is endless. Charlotte cried, she is love standing against teeth. David growled, teeth always win. The crocodile's shadow broke the surface, eyes blazing gold through rain. Eleanor whispered, it rises. Marcus growled, now comes the true strike. Charlotte's voice shook, the calf cannot run. David shouted, she will die before surrendering him. The storm howled, wind tearing through reeds. Eleanor said, nature itself becomes predator's ally. Marcus muttered, even the storm sharpens its hunger. Charlotte trembled, but the mother lowers her horns. David clenched his jaw, defiance sharpens in silence. Water churned violently as massive tail thrashed beneath surface. Eleanor whispered, the swamp breathes through its monster. Marcus shouted, this is the edge of survival. Charlotte whispered, love meets teeth here. David muttered, and blood will follow. The swamp erupted as predator surged forward, body breaking water. Eleanor cried, the strike has come. Marcus shouted, hold the line. Charlotte gasped. She lowers her horns against it. David roared, love becomes weapon now. The crocodile lunged, teeth snapping with violent thunder. Eleanor whispered, the calf trembles but lives. Marcus muttered, her sacrifice is written in blood. Charlotte sobbed, she holds back death for another breath. David growled, another breath is all survival needs. Rain fell heavier as lightning split the sky. Eleanor whispered, this is the law, written in storm and fang. Marcus said, this is where hope is tested. Charlotte said, this is where love bleeds. David muttered, and where death feasts. The storm's rage softened for a moment as silence crept back. Eleanor whispered, the predator halts its strike. Marcus muttered, why does it wait now? Charlotte said, look closer, its movements are not of hunger alone. David's breath shook, its body is scarred, ribs sharp against its hide. The crocodile lingered, circling but not lunging again. Eleanor whispered, it is not only hunter but survivor. Marcus frowned, it is weak, desperate, carrying battles of its own. Charlotte's eyes widened, it fights not only for flesh, but for its young perhaps. David clenched his jaw, predators bleed the same laws we do. The herd was gone, but truth shifted like the tide. Eleanor whispered, we feared only one truth, but there are two. Marcus said, hunger binds all, even killers. Charlotte murmured, the monster is mother too. David muttered, survival's shadow holds no villains, only mirrors. The mother wildebeest braced herself, horns lowered still, guarding her calf. Eleanor whispered, she stands not against predator but against fate. Marcus muttered, she knows it is not cruelty that hunts her. Charlotte's breath trembled. The crocodile bears hunger like a wound. David said, it is as desperate as she is. Lightning cracked, illuminating both mothers across the swamp divide. Eleanor whispered, one shields with flesh, the other seeks with fang. Marcus muttered, both bleed under the same sky. Charlotte said, this is not war, but reflection. David growled, and reflection is crueler than teeth. The calf pressed tighter, trembling yet alive. Eleanor whispered, hope clings by threads, but threads may hold. Marcus muttered, threads snap when storms cut. Charlotte said, yet love ties knots even storms cannot undo. David's gaze hardened, but hunger does not untie, it severs. The crocodile paused, its head lowering, almost as if bowing. Eleanor whispered, It hesitates. Marcus muttered, its hunger wars with its weakness. Charlotte's eyes filled with tears. It does not strike because it too protects something. David growled, somewhere its young wait in silence. Thunder rolled deep across swamp, echoing in every chest. Eleanor whispered, predator and prey share the same chain of survival. Marcus said, the chain binds all until it breaks. Charlotte murmured, her sacrifice mirrors its hunger. David muttered, and both are prisons of nature. The calf lifted weakly, pressing tighter against its mother. Ah! Eleanor whispered, the little one breathes still, because love holds back death. Marcus said, and hunger restrains itself for a moment more. Charlotte whispered, this moment is heavier than thunder. David muttered, and crueler than blood. The swamp's voice rose with storm yet carried strange stillness. Eleanor whispered, we thought this was battle, but it is confession. Marcus muttered, both stand stripped of armor before fate. Charlotte said, the crocodile is no monster, it is survivor. David's fists trembled, and the wildebeest no saint, but desperate mother. Lightning illuminated scars across both bodies, deep ancient wounds of survival. Eleanor whispered, every mark is memory of another fight. Marcus said, every fight is written in hunger and loss. Charlotte whispered, the calf's cry joins that chorus of survival. David muttered, and so does predator's silence. For one fleeting second predator and prey shared the same breath. Eleanor whispered, this is the hidden law, love and hunger mirror one another. Marcus said, and mirror breaks all illusions. Charlotte murmured, survival is not cruel, it is equal. David said, equal but merciless. The storm thundered its verdict, but neither moved. Eleanor whispered, survival wears many faces. Marcus muttered, we looked for villains but found mirrors. Charlotte's breath trembled. The crocodile is no shadow but another mother's hunger. David said, and the wildebeest no hero but flesh bound by love. Rain pounded heavier, blurring edges between predator and prey. Eleanor whispered, they are bound not by choice but by necessity. Marcus said, the swamp gives nothing freely. Charlotte whispered, but love still stands though storm rages. David muttered, and hunger still waits though body weakens. The calf breathed shallow, but alive beneath its mother's flank. Eleanor whispered, this moment belongs not to blood but to truth. Marcus growled, truth is crueler than fang. Charlotte whispered, but more enduring than storm. David said, and it leaves us undone. The storm broke into violent roar as predator lunged again. Eleanor cried, it strikes with fury unchained. Marcus shouted, the fight is now. Charlotte screamed, the calf cannot stand. David roared, but she still defends. The crocodile snapped jaws that clashed against horns, with bone-rattling thunder. Eleanor whispered, every breath is final gamble. Marcus muttered, each second she holds is miracle. Charlotte sobbed, love sharpens horns sharper than steel. David growled, but jaws crush steel. Water churned violently with blood mixing into rain. Eleanor gasped, the swamp drinks sacrifice without pity. Marcus shouted, but she does not fall. Charlotte trembled, her body is wall against river of death. David muttered, walls crumble when storm pounds forever. The crocodile thrashed its tail shattering reeds. Eleanor gasped, it strikes with river's strength. Marcus shouted, hold, hold! Charlotte sobbed, she bleeds but still stands. David growled, every wound screams but she endures. Blood streaked across her flank mixing with mud. Eleanor whispered, her pain is raw thunder. Marcus muttered, but the calf still breathes. Charlotte whispered, her body shields him though torn apart. David muttered, sacrifice is survival's cruelest law. Lightning cracked again, showing her scars deepening with every clash. Eleanor said, the storm carves her into monument. Marcus shouted, predator feels the weight of her defiance. Charlotte cried, love fights hunger until last breath. David muttered, and last breath nears. The calf stumbled free, collapsing in mud again. Eleanor cried, "It is exposed." Marcus shouted, "The predator sees weakness now." Charlotte sobbed. The mother lunges forward, striking horns. David roared, her body buys him seconds. Horns clashed against jaws, sparks of fury and rain. Eleanor whispered, "This is not battle, it is sacrifice." Marcus muttered, "Every strike drains her strength." Charlotte trembled, "But she fights as if immortal." David growled, "Even immortals bleed." Water boiled with chaos as tail struck ground in violent crash. Eleanor gasped, "The swamp trembles under weight of this war." Marcus shouted, "But storm will crown victor." Charlotte sobbed, "And love cannot win forever." David whispered, "But love still fights." The mother staggered, legs trembling yet unbroken. Eleanor whispered, "She stands though broken." Marcus muttered, "Every breath she draws is defiance." Charlotte sobbed, "The calf cries but still breathes." David roared, "She shields until last." The crocodile lunged, jaws snapping with deafening crack. Eleanor gasped, "Her flank is torn." Marcus shouted, "Blood flows heavy now." Charlotte trembled, but still she does not step away. David muttered, "Her love roots her deeper than fear." Rain fell heavier, drowning ground in rivers of mud. Eleanor whispered, "The swamp will bury them in water and blood." Marcus growled, "But she writes legacy in wounds." Charlotte whispered, "Her story is carved in storm." David said, "And fate carves its end." The clash reached breaking point, water exploding, blood mixing with storm. Eleanor cried, "This is the end." Marcus shouted, "Her strength breaks now." Charlotte screamed, "The calf still breathes." David roared, "Her love holds one breath longer." The crocodile surged, jaws wide, final strike descending. Eleanor whispered, her eyes are filled with fire, not fear. Marcus muttered, "Her horns rise for last charge." Charlotte sobbed, "She spends her life to buy another's." David whispered, "This is survival's cruelest truth." Horns and jaws collided in final shattering crash. Eleanor gasped, "The swamp itself shudders." Marcus shouted, "Her body breaks but spirit defies." Charlotte whispered, "Love bleeds yet endures." David muttered, "And death feeds yet waits." The storm eased, rain softening into heavy drops as silence returned. Eleanor whispered, "The swamp breathes again." Marcus muttered, "But it breathes over graves." Charlotte trembled. The mother still stands, though blood drains from her. David whispered, "Her body sways like broken tree in wind." Water rippled gently where Crocodile's shadow slipped back beneath surface. Eleanor said, "It retreats, not victorious but exhausted." Marcus frowned. "Even predator yields when survival cuts deep." Charlotte cried softly, "The calf breathes yet clings to her in terror." David growled, "But she cannot carry him further." Lightning faded into distant rumble, clouds breaking to reveal faint light. Eleanor whispered, "This is survival's cruel resolution." Marcus muttered, "It is not victory, only endurance." Charlotte's tears fell. She gives everything yet still loses strength. David said, "And strength is the only currency the swamp accepts." The mother staggered forward, hooves sinking in mud. Eleanor whispered, "Every step costs her life." Marcus muttered, "She bleeds trail of sacrifice." Charlotte sobbed. The calf stumbles trying to follow. David said, "He is alive only by her shield." Her eyes dimmed but horns still lowered against unseen threat. Eleanor whispered, "She carries legacy heavier than flesh." Marcus growled, "Her body will fall, but story will not." Charlotte trembled, her strength becomes inheritance written in blood. David whispered, "Inheritance carved in scars of love." The swamp quieted, insects buzzing again as if nothing occurred. Eleanor whispered, "Nature forgets swiftly, but scars remember." Marcus said, "Every scar speaks history." Charlotte cried, "This scar is the shape of devotion." David muttered, and devotion pays highest price. The calf cried softly, pressing against her wounded body. Eleanor whispered, his voice is weak but alive. Marcus muttered, her strength flows into him even as hers drains away. Charlotte sobbed, she kneels unable to rise again. David whispered, this is end written in mud and rain. She lowered head, touching calf's side gently one last time. Eleanor whispered, even in death she gives comfort. Marcus said, her final act is not defense but embrace. Charlotte's voice cracked. She tells him without words that love endures. David muttered, and love is weight predator cannot crush. The storm cleared, more light, piercing through clouds, golden yet cold. Eleanor whispered, her story ends but his begins. Marcus muttered, beginnings are carved from sacrifice. Charlotte said, every breath he takes carries her name. David whispered, and her name is survival. Her body finally gave way, sinking into mud, horns dulling. Eleanor whispered, she falls. Marcus muttered, her fight ends but not her meaning. Charlotte sobbed, the calf stands over her trembling. David whispered, his story now balances between life and extinction. Insects hummed louder, reclaiming swamp's rhythm, as if nothing sacred occurred. Eleanor whispered, nature buries memory beneath routine. Marcus growled, but we remember scars, not silence. Charlotte trembled, she dies as fortress, not victim. David said, fortress crumbles yet leaves foundation. The calf cried again, voice sharp against returning quiet. Eleanor whispered, his cry is legacy. Marcus muttered, legacy fragile yet enduring. Charlotte said, he breathes because she no longer does. David whispered, and that is survival's final law. The storm was gone, sky breaking into fragile dawn. Eleanor whispered, the swamp wears innocence again. Marcus muttered, but innocence masks grave beneath. Charlotte's tears fell. The calf lives but mother is gone. David whispered, and her sacrifice echoes beyond swamp. Water calmed, carrying away ripples of battle as mist lifted. Eleanor said, her body rests but her spirit lingers in him. Marcus growled, her scars are now his inheritance. Charlotte murmured, her love is shield though her body fell. David muttered, shield invisible yet unbreakable. Birds returned, perching on reeds, calling as if nothing passed. Eleanor whispered, the world moves on, but memory does not. Marcus said, nature is absolute, never merciful. Charlotte whispered, but in love we find meaning. David said, and in sacrifice we find truth. Dawn broke with fragile silence as mist curled over still water. Eleanor whispered, the swamp wears peace like disguise. Marcus muttered, but beneath lies grave of sacrifice. Charlotte trembled, the calf stands alone, shadowed by her body. David whispered, he breathes, yet every breath is borrowed from her. Birds returned their calls, piercing air as if nothing was lost. Eleanor said, nature forgets swiftly. Marcus growled, but memory burns longer than storm. Charlotte's voice broke, the calf carries her story. David whispered, stories weigh heavier than flesh. Water reflected, rising sun golden, yet cold. Eleanor whispered, this dawn is not birth, but echo. Marcus muttered, echo sharp enough to cut silence. Charlotte murmured, love leaves no silence untouched. David said, and silence leaves no heart unscarred. The calf lifted its head, weakly, eyes wide with fear and defiance. Eleanor whispered, he rises though unready. Marcus muttered, survival does not wait for readiness. Charlotte said her blood is his armor now. David whispered, her fall is his inheritance. The reeds swayed gently, as if carrying secrets. Eleanor murmured, every scar she bore becomes his path. Marcus growled, paths carved by sacrifice are cruel. Charlotte trembled, yet they lead forward. David said, forward is the only direction survival knows. A crane flew overhead, wings slicing dawn. Eleanor whispered, The world moves on even as graves grow fresh. Marcus muttered, but her echo moves with him. Charlotte's tears glimmered. Her story breathes in his breath. David whispered, and her breath never ends. The swamp glistened golden as sun broke higher, yet grief lingered. Eleanor whispered, her body rests but her will walks. Marcus muttered, through him she endures. Charlotte cried softly, her horns lowered for last fight, yet her spirit never bowed. David whispered, survival bends flesh, not spirit. Insects hummed louder, reclaiming rhythm of life. Eleanor said, the swamp forgets, but we remember. Marcus growled, scars remember more than skin. Charlotte trembled, he trembles yet stands because she no longer does. David whispered, that is cruelest mercy of nature. Mist lifted, unveiling scarred battlefield of mud and blood. Eleanor whispered, every ripple carries her story outward. Marcus muttered, every silence bears her name. Charlotte whispered, and every dawn repeats her vow. David said, her vow is survival eternal. The calf turned weakly toward herd's fading trail. Eleanor whispered, he seeks path to life. Marcus muttered, but path is carved with absence. Charlotte trembled, he walks with her shadow at his side. David whispered, shadow heavier than any predator. Step by step he wavered, yet pressed forward. Eleanor whispered, each step echoes her sacrifice. Marcus growled, every stumble speaks her strength. Charlotte said, love does not die, it walks beside him. David muttered, and hunger waits still ahead. The herd's distant shapes blurred in golden haze. Eleanor whispered, he is last of her legacy. Marcus said, legacy fragile as dawn light. Charlotte whispered, but dawn light still breaks night. David murmured, and survival still breaks hearts. The swamp fell into stillness as last cry pierced dawn. Eleanor whispered, the calf's voice carries her memory. Marcus muttered, it is not cry of weakness but echo of love. Charlotte sobbed, her spirit walks in sound. David whispered, and silence will remember it. Birds rose into sky, scattering light across water. Eleanor said, this is survival's echo. Marcus growled, echo cruel, but eternal. Charlotte trembled, it lingers like scar across sky. David whispered, and scar will never fade. The swamp shimmered golden, yet beneath lay shadows unbroken. Eleanor whispered, her sacrifice binds this place forever. Marcus said, this is law written in blood and dawn. Charlotte whispered, this is echo of mother's love. David murmured, and echo never dies.